So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a look at a Hysteria build for Valkyr. Now I've noticed one thing with my build videos from the comments. People tend to judge my builds based on the mods equipped rather than their performance, because I always put the build first and I do the demonstration later. So today I've prepared some quick demonstrations for you at the beginning, then we're going to take a look at the build, and I will do the conclusion at the end. So Exhibit A, today's second sortie, which is a corpus sabotage with augmented shields. Exhibit B, today's third sortie, once again corpus mission, but this time it's mobile defense and the enemy have higher physical resistance. And finally, Exhibit C, the final Rathum arena, which is level 85, and this I do believe is the toughest enemy in the arena. It's the one with the shield, the really bulky dude. So now that we've seen what this build can do, let's take a look at it. So it's of course a Valkyr build, and it's a 2-forma build. I've used 3-forma, but it is not necessary whatsoever. I was just trying a different build. So all you need for this build is to add a dash and a D. You don't need the second D that I've added with the 3rd forma. So the aura I'm using is Steel Charge, and this simply increases the damage of Hysteria by a lot. It also fits the polarity, and it's the most expensive aura that you can use, so it's going to give you a ton of mod capacity as well. Then I'm using Primed Continuity to kind of balance out Fleeting Expertise and Transient Fortitude, just to help me with the drain a little bit. Without it, Hysteria does drain a lot of energy, especially as you stay in Hysteria for longer and the drain starts to go up. Now, even though you are invincible in Hysteria, I am still using Vitality and Steel Fiber. And there are 2 reasons for this. So first of all, I'm using Rage to generate energy. So in order to generate energy, I need to take damage. And second of all, the enemies you're going to find with this are most likely going to be very high level. I mean, sortie level, so around level 80 to 100. And when these dudes hit you without Vitality and Steel Fiber, it doesn't matter that you're Valkyr. You're dead. So in order to generate some energy, even in the high level missions, we need some tankiness so we can take a couple of hits, generate energy with Rage, and get back into Hysteria. Next mod I'm using is Primed Flow, and it doesn't really matter if you don't have the primed version, it's not that big of a deal, and I'm using Flow just so I can bank more energy either outside of Hysteria by taking damage or by picking up energy orbs while I'm in Hysteria, so I can stay in it for as long as I can. Then to reduce the energy drain even further, I'm using Streamline and Fleeting Expertise that's 2 ranks from the top so I don't go over the power efficiency cap, and this means that I save a little bit of duration, which in the long run helps with the drain. Then, as I've said already, I'm using Rage to generate energy when I take damage outside of Hysteria, and finally for a little bit of power strength and more damage, I'm using Transient Fortitude combined with Power Drift. Now, the damage of Hysteria is mostly affected by the mods you have on your melee weapon, so I'm using a 2-forma war build with Cleaving Whirlwind, but you can put on whatever you want, Primed Pressure Point for more damage, as well as Spoiled Strike for more damage, Primed Fury for a lot more attack speed, True Steel for critical chance, and Organ Chatter for critical damage. And this is pretty strong because the claws in Hysteria do have 50% critical chance, so crit mods are pretty good. And finally, I'm using 3 elemental mods, and I'm using Shocking Touch, Fever Strike, and Molten Impact, which makes corrosive and heat damage, and this is simply because I'm lazy and corrosive and heat is pretty good against all the factions. Now, as far as the primed mods are concerned, as I've said already, Primed Flow, if you don't have it primed, it's not that big of a deal, you can just use the regular flow. But if you don't have Primed Continuity and you just use the regular continuity, you're gonna see a noticeable increase in energy drain. Primed Pressure Point just adds more damage than the regular Pressure Point, so if you don't have it primed, you will do less damage. The damage isn't gonna be low by any means, it's just gonna be not quite as good. And if you don't have Primed Fury, simply swap it out for Berserker, and if you don't have Berserker, just swap it out for regular Fury. The difference isn't that big, because in Hysteria you do have a lot of attack speed by default. So as you've seen in the little demonstration at the beginning, this build can deal with anything the game will throw at you. It doesn't matter if it's a corpus sortie with increased shield, or the enemies are tougher, or you're playing the Rathu Marina. This build is pretty damn good. It does a ton of damage, and since we are using a lot of power efficiency and we're balancing out fleeting expertise and transient fortitude with prime continuity, you can stay in Hysteria for quite some time. And if you run out of energy, all you have to do is get hit a couple of times, jump into Hysteria, heal yourself back up, jump out, get hit, heal yourself, and so on and so on and so on, until you have full energy and you can once again go ham. So I would definitely recommend this build. It's a lot of fun, it's very powerful, and as always, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.